Hey everyone, it's Lindsay here, and today I'm going to show you guys how to turn a cross stitch into a pillow with a pocket. With my videos, I don't give you like exact measurements because I'm trying to show you a technique so you can take this technique and apply it to whatever pillow you're doing. I will give you kind of what I'm doing so you have an idea, but today we're going to finish the Be My Valentine into a pillow with a pocket. The first thing is your supplies. I have a piece of pink fabric. This is going to be the on the front and have it's going to be part of our pocket. So we're going to have a couple layers of this fabric, and then this is going to be our backing. And then if you got a kit, we included some interfacing. And this is not required, but when I made the sample, I felt like using some interfacing gave the pocket a little more stability. So, and then I have a piece of felt for the back to cover my hole when I turn it right side up. So I have my cross stitch piece, and the first thing that I've done is I have marked a line 3/4 of an inch from the top part of my stitching, the left side and the right side. The bottom I do a full inch, and the reason I do a little bit wider here is because when your pillow sits, sometimes you can lose this bottom part and you can't see it as well. So this is, you can leave more space, less space. It's a personal preference. You'll kind of start making your pillows and decide what you like it to look like. So I've used an erasable pen, so this comes out when it sits for a while. So if you mess up your marking, no worries, it should come out and you can remark. But the first thing is to do your marking. The next thing is we are going to line our cross stitch and our pink fabric with the interfacing. And to do that, all we need to do is, I'm gonna cut this down so I don't have a lot of waste on my interfacing. So I could cut this exactly, but I kind of like to do my full trimming later. It's just kind of something I've always done. So I have my interfacing here, and what you're gonna do is you're going to I'm gonna use a ruler because you don't want extra interfacing because you're gonna iron this, and there is like an adhesive on here, so you don't want the extra stickiness sticking to your ironing stuff. Okay, so I have this piece. I'm gonna turn it right side out, and your interfacing has two sides. It has a flat side and it has a rough side. You're gonna put the rough side, I have a little thread here I'm gonna cut. You're gonna put the rough side against the back of your cross stitch, okay? And then you're gonna take your iron and you're going to press your interfacing onto your cross stitch piece. And don't be going hog wild and like going like with your iron. Sorry, I probably moved the camera. You don't want to stretch your fabric, just kind of be gentle. Okay, you can see I have that. I've lost part of my line, so I'm gonna hurry and remark that. So I don't lose it further. Okay. Now we are going to, we have some interfacing left, which we're going to use for our pink fabric. And what we're gonna do is this is going to be like a personal preference, how much of a pocket you want showing. So what I'm going to do is, you want your fabric to be at least, I'm not going to explain this very well. So what we're going to do, so I'm going to show you before I kind of start going, is we will place our fabric right sides together with that line we created, and we will sew a 1/4 inch line. And so once we sew our line, it'll look something like this. And we will have all this extra fabric, okay? What I want you to determine is how much of a pocket you want. We're gonna pretend that's sewn before we do it, and I'll show you guys. So I am also going to fold this so I have a complete lined pocket. So pretend that's sewn, and sorry, it's a little hard to show this. I'm going to leave a little extra above my pocket, and then I need enough fabric to go behind my cross stitch as well. So I have a fully lined front pocket piece, if that makes sense. So I'm just kind of measuring what I have here, and I'm going to unfold this. I would say from the bottom of this to this is about 9-10 inches. I think I'm gonna do 9 inches, and that will be plenty. So I am going to line my pink fabric with some interfacing. And this is the last part that you're going to be, you can interface the other pieces too if you would like. In the kit, we're including the interfacing for the pocket part of your project. So I'm going to put this here. Actually, hang on. I'm going to cut the 9 inches because I don't want to interface this whole thing, because we're going to use this other part of your fabric as well. So go here. I need a bigger mat. And I haven't cut this size yet because we'll cut that down as we go. Okay, so I have about 9 inches here. Now I'm gonna quickly interface this. Again, you're gonna put the rough side of the interfacing on the wrong side of the fabric. Okay, so as you can see, I have this interfaced and this interfaced. Now what I'm going to do is you're going to place this right sides together, and we're gonna sew a 1/4 inch seam allowance. And I'm going to go do that, and then I will be right back. Okay, I've sewn my seam allowance, you see here. I'm gonna just pop this open, make sure I like what I'm seeing before I cut off my excess fabric. I feel like that looks good. I'm gonna go here. And now you're going to press. And the fabric kind of just wants to go up, so I'm gonna press it so my fabric is going this way. Okay, so now what I want to do is I'm gonna create a fold. Now I want you guys to picture this. Right now, I'm gonna put this backing piece on so you can see, kind of visualize this with me. This is gonna be our other, what we mount our pocket on. So, this will be like our pocket, and I'm just kind of seeing, do I like how wide this is? Do I want it to be wider? I think a little less is better, and I've just kind of eyeballed it. You can use one of those like seam gauges if you'd like, but I feel like I like this. And as you can see, I've folded it so our pocket has a complete lining here. So what I'm going to do to make this look even more professional, I'm going to take this to my sewing machine, and I'm going to do a top seam here. And I'll probably do just a little bit less than a 1/4 inch. And I'm going to increase my stitch length, because when you top seam, if you increase your stitch length, it looks a little more professional. So I'm going to increase that, and I'm going to do a top stitch all the way across. Okay, so I'm going to bring this up so you can kind of see it. Here is my top seam, and look at how professional that looks. So, okay, you guys, I grabbed more interfacing. So we'll make sure your kit has plenty of interfacing. So what I'm going to do is trim off. I'm still not going to trim to my line yet, and I'll show you. I'm going to trim this part first, and I trim that part in, very last when I know everything is good. Okay, so here is my piece here, and I know that is crooked, but this line is straight, and we will make sure everything is straight. So I've grabbed more interfacing, and now we're going to interface the rest of this piece here. Let's see, I'm going to, this is where we have to picture how much fabric we want on the top. So let's pretend that's what we want. Here's our little notepad. And then we need to make sure we have enough for seam allowance. So this is going to be another personal preference. I feel like I'm going to just move it down a little bit, and I can still trim, but I'm going to trim this off, and then I'm going to interface this piece here. And again, we're just interfacing to create a stability for our project. I'm going to trim off the excess interfacing, because again, you don't want to like gum up your ironing board. And it is, the interfacing, I mean, you don't need it, but it's going to just give your pillow more structure. Okay. This is actually upside down. Rough side always goes to the wrong side. Okay. So I have this. I'm not using any steam. I don't really think you need to, but if you like using steam, you can. Okay, so now I have this part. And so we still have to add, so like you're getting a better picture. This will be our backing to the pillow. So this part is literally just the front and the pocket. What you want to do is you can pin this into place. Make sure you're straight on. You can pin it. You can use Wonder Clips. I am going to use Wonder Clips and show you guys that. I'm going to trim off my excess side. Whoops. Okay. I'm going to grab my Wonder Clips here, and I'm just going to do this. I guess I put that on backwards. I guess it doesn't really matter, does it? Okay. I feel like I'm straight here. If you are really particular, you can grab your ruler. You can see. I feel like I can eyeball things pretty straight, but if you don't feel like you can, grab a ruler, mark a line. What we're going to do is we're going to put a stay stitch in this, so our pocket stays where it's supposed to be. And I am going to do it so it's just inside this line, and I'm going to start up here and I'm going to go down. I'm going to start up here and go down. I don't feel like doing this line would make a lot of sense. And the reason is because you'll get a bubble, like the fabric needs somewhere to go. So I think here and here makes sense. I feel like the only stay stitch you need to do. I'm just going inside my line because once I cut this, you know, I'll have my seam allowance. So you don't want to go more than 1/4 inch in your stay stitch. And if you do, you'll just need to unpick it later. But okay, so I'm going to do that really quick. Okay, so I have my stay stitch here. I'm going to take these off. All right. I feel good about giving everything a trim at this point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim kind of where my original marking was. I want to make sure I'm pretty darn straight everywhere. I am not trimming this part off. You need to leave this part where it's at. The bottom. Okay. And now this side. Okay, so we have, this is our pocket piece, and now we just have to sew this to our backing. So what I'm going to do, you have some interfacing left. I want you to interface your backing piece as well. And so I'm just going to use the rest of my interfacing here and trim it down. Put those over there. Make sure you have rough side to wrong side, which I have the rough side to the wrong side. I'm going to just get that nice and as you notice, like I didn't measure exactly the same size as this. I left it a little bit big because I prefer to trim down my backing at the end. One thing I want to mention, when I was making the sample, and part of the problem was I was using the same fabric for my backing too, so I didn't know which side was my backing when I needed to cut the, you know, to turn it right side out. So I'm just gonna write this is my backing so I know. I ended up really messing up and having to redo it. Okay, so you are going to place your pocket piece right sides together, and like I said, you could trim this exactly to the size. That is totally fine if you want to do that. I find if something shifts a little, then I'm safe, but you can also, I'm going to trim mine down a little and then I'm going to wonder clip it. So I'm just going to trim it down so it's like a 1/4 inch on all sides. Like I'm not being super particular. Okay, so also I have my thing that says backing. This is kind of like a straight piece, so I'm going to try and line it up with the flowers as much as I can, and it looks like that is the straightest. So you can wonder clip this whole thing all the way around. I don't take the time to do that because I feel like I'm pretty good. But if you're a new sewer and things seem to shift for you, just clip all the way around. You're going to do a 1/4 inch seam allowance all the way around your piece. Okay, so I have gone a 1/4 inch around my entire piece. And now I'm going to trim off my excess backing. Okay, so you can see we sewed this all the way shut, so we need an opening. So what you're going to do is you're going to make sure you have your backing piece and that you only have your backing piece grabbed. Make sure all of these layers are not, you're not grabbing those layers. And I'm going to just, I kind of just go like this and make a little I might have to go a little bit bigger. There's a lot of layers here. Now I have my hole, and you can trim these to reduce, you know, bulk. Make sure you're not going into your seam. These bottom corners are going to be thick. I'm just gonna put that out there because we have everything is interfaced, so it creates more thickness. So I'm gonna turn this right side out. Okay, so I have turned it right side out. I have some wrinkles here, so I'm just going to press it as, you know, as much as I can. These corners, I mean, they look like I rounded them off, but that's because there's so much thickness. But I think it looks fantastic the way it turned out. So I'm just gonna iron that some more. I can iron the top a little bit more. Okay, so now you're ready to fill your pillow. Now, I prefer to do a combination of poly pellets, and I'm gonna grab some. So I have just this water bottle that I cut the top off. You can use a funnel. I just put my hand like that and I just start filling my pillow. I prefer a nice amount of poly pellets in my pillows. So I'm gonna do another scoop. And I want this to go in the front because this makes it so your front is really smooth. When you fill with just polyfill, your pillows can look lumpy if you don't spend the time to really like aerate your polyfill. Okay, so I feel like that's a good amount. So now I'm gonna back fill with my polyfill here. And I'm gonna show you what it looks like. This is polyfill. Now, this is what like aerating your polyfill looks like. I feel like you don't have to be as careful when you use the poly pellets first. Like, it just takes some of the work out, in my opinion. And you just start filling your pillow. I'm gonna continue to fill until I feel like it's as full as I like it. All right, guys, so I'm gonna show you the back, and this is really full. I'm sorry I'm shaking the camera, but I want to show you how full I like to get my pillows. I like a lot of fullness. So the last thing, I have my felt here. You can do some fun things before you put your felt on. You can embroider designs on your felt and then sew it on. I've done it both ways. You can add a button back here. You can make this just as cute as the front, but you're gonna just grab a needle and thread, and you're going to do a running stitch all the way around. And I've done other videos of showing how to do the back. So I want to show you how cute this is. And if you have cute little love notes or cards, like, you can stick them in there. You could change out the card every day for your kids or your loved ones. I just think it's so fun. But there you go. That's how you make a pocket for your cross stitch. I would love to see you guys try this technique. Be sure to tag us and like and subscribe, and we will see you guys next time.